Go along the edge or one in the middle. They are 3-in-1 lights, as we said earlier. Hi guys, welcome to Asher and Gad channel. Making Africa home again, one family at a time. So here we are on site with another site update on this Saturday afternoon. Lots to talk about today. I'll start with the challenges our new electrician is facing. Now, it's never good to really change the tradesperson, but as you know, if you are a subscriber, you know that our first electrician has caused us a hell of a lot of headaches. We're on the roof. You know, he was the electrician who drilled the roof after the waterproof concrete had all been done and caused the leaks, which are now no more, but we had to spend almost another £200 to resolve that problem. You know, so much headache. And also, you know, we were calling him for 3 solid weeks, calling him, sending him WhatsApp messages, no response. We're paying a lot of rent where we are. We just had enough. He's holding us at ransom. This was almost like his bonus project, and we just said, you know, we've had enough. We had no choice but to finally sack him, get rid of him, and put a new electrician group here. And I must say, these new electricians are quite good. They seem like honest people, and it's been going quite well. Obviously, when you're not the electrician who has wired the whole house, you face some challenges. The good thing is I knew where a lot of the switches were and how the wiring had been done. Not every single item, but you know, I was able to guide them a lot along the way. But they did find some challenges. For example, if the lovely crystal points down below, they fixed all the external lights, and it was a significant challenge to find out where those lights were actually switched from, you know, because the wiring didn't make sense. Finally, we realized that the previous electrician hadn't actually made an allowance for the switch, you know. So it's one of those items which he either forgot because he's in a rush, or he planned to do it later on. So nonetheless, no issues. All we did was at the front we put a PIR, and these external fence wall lights now come on automatically. As soon as it starts getting dark at about 6 p.m, the lights will come on by themselves, and in the morning after, let's say, 6 a.m, when it starts to get bright again, the lights will go off. Nice and simple. But what I would say is, again, you know, talking to this new electrician who is quite good as well. A lot of the electricians in Ghana need, you know, retraining, really retraining, and also to be more professional. For example, as we went around, we found out again that the previous electrician was really doing some wrong things, some more practices. Again, if the lovely crystal points to the external fence area, guys, you can see a number of pipes, right? A number of pipes on the ground along the wall. You've got the PVC pipes, the grey ones which have power to the external light fittings, as well as some have CCTV cables in them as well. We went round yesterday and found that the joints from pipe to pipe were not glued together. They were not glued together. They were simply just pushed in together, which is bad practice. You always have to glue the pipes together at the joints, whether it's external pipes or inside the house, because if you don't, when it rains, it is possible that you can get water in the pipes. And obviously, yes, the electric cables have insulation around them, but if electric cables sit in water for years and years and years, and even CCTV cables, after some time the insulation can degrade, and obviously, even if many years go by, at some point the insulation will degrade to the extent that it will touch the copper conductors. You have a short circuit, and all of a sudden your external lights will not work, or something will not work. You've done all your landscaping and you can't find you know, what's wrong with it, which is a significant headache. True to the matter, we went around yesterday looking at all these pipes. We raised some of them. Lo and behold, water came gushing out. Really annoyed by that. And what can I say? It's common practice to, when you push it in, you glue it, and then you push it in so it remains firm and becomes impermeable to water, which the previous electrician did not do. I don't know why he did not do it. Maybe he told his boys to do it, but they didn't do it. Maybe they stole the glue. Who knows? I'm speculating. But whatever the case may be, it was up to him to inspect the work of his workers to make sure that it was done properly. So that's one thing to remember. Now, so thankfully, the new electrician, I went around with the new electrician around the whole compound, and we checked all the pipes, glued them pushed them back in. If there's any water inside, we made sure we lifted them up, poured every water that was in. There was only really 1 or 2 areas that had a bit of water in them. The rest were fairly dry. But in any case, we glued them, pushed them back in. Everything is nice and secure. Right, so I'm a bit more relaxed about that now. However, here is another point. As an engineer, when we're designing buildings, we always think about access and maintenance for the future. Plant replacement. Something goes wrong, how are we going to replace it? Something goes wrong, how are we going to find out what has gone wrong? So again, with a lovely crystal point at the pipes running along the fence wall. The grey pipes, as I said before, are for electric cables, and some have got CCTV cables in them as well. The green pipes are water pipes to the taps and to the future swimming pool area. When we do our landscaping, whatever landscaping we choose to do, along the edges, we are going to make allowance for accessibility. Okay, so whatever we have, whether we finish in tiles along the edges or pavement blocking, whatever we have along the edges, we're going to allow for some sort of lift up panels, so that if something goes wrong with the wiring or the pipes in the future, we can easily go around the edge, lift them up, and inspect the pipes or inspect the cables where we need to, if possible. That is a good thing to have in mind, because if it's all tiled or all tiled or concreted over, then obviously, you know, you're done for. You're gonna have to remove all the concrete, which is an absolute nightmare, an absolute bonkers. You don't want to do that whatsoever. Absolutely not. So that's, I think, let me just check my notes so I don't miss any key item that I've listed for you guys today. Bear with me. So the laterite, as you can see, as you saw already, it is being filled. As you know from the previous video, the cost was 600 Ghana cedis per trip of laterite, and the workers are spreading each trip for 200 Ghana cedis. Okay, 200 Ghana cedis to spread a trip of laterite. That varies, you know. I had some workers who told me they'll charge 300, but so I managed to negotiate and get it down to 200 cedis per spreading trip of laterite. All right, so now let's go through the house and show you some of our lights that we've installed. Unfortunately, I think the power has just gone off, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to turn them on for you to see, but I'll show you what I can show you for the time being. Maybe another time we'll turn them on for you to see. Right, so let's go and have a look. Unfortunately, the lights are out. We just had a power cut, so you can't see the lights being turned on. So I'll just explain it to you. So we've got a spotlight in each corner of the room. We have an LED strip light, which is within the coffers of the POP all around, and we've got 2 major lights in the middle. What we wanted is functional lighting. We want, depending on what mood we're in, we put on the lights to suit our mood. For example, the 2 main lights in the middle, this is something that Crystal wanted, are 3-in-1 lights. So it's got a very high, a very bright white, like 4,000 Kelvin, if you know anything about lighting. Then there's a warmer light, and then there's a really warm light when you want to go to bed, let's say. The LED strip light in itself is a warm light. We've got 2-way switching either side of the bed. Okay, so Crystal doesn't fight with me at night. 2-way, you can switch it from either side of the bed. We've got these lovely sort of reading lights as well, which are pretty good. Maybe a bit too far apart, but then that will do. Coming to the sockets, we've got USB type sockets as well here. which is great. Lights are up, so again, the neon indicators would normally come on, but the lights are up, so you can't see. So we've got USB sockets in both rooms, and yeah, it's a shame really, but I'm sure you see the lights coming on in probably the next video when there's power available. All right. But you're gonna see the lovely chandelier because it's still lights, so you see that. So guys, this is the chandelier that we've been talking about. You can see it's hanging from the one of the members of the atrium. Again, planning. We had to really be here to think about this very, very well, unless it would have been completely missed. The wires go through the steel beams, the steel members of the atrium, and come down to the switch on the ground floor level. But this chandelier is really, really nice, beautiful. The lighting is awesome. For those who love to know about cost, the chandelier was about 2,000 Ghana cedis, all right, which is what 2,000 Ghana cedis is about £250, and probably about 350 odd US dollars for that chandelier, which is I think a pretty reasonable price. Okay, very, very, very nice. I really love it. In the living room as well. Again, we'll show this in another time. We've got LED strip light, a couple of fan positions that we're not installing yet, and we also have some down lights around it. Again, depending on the function of what we want at whatever time we have. Similar theme in the kitchen. So guys, so thankfully the lights have come on. So just demonstrate to you what we've done in the living room. So these are the down lights that go along the edge and one in the middle. They are 3-in-1 lights, as we said earlier. I'll just try to demonstrate it. Here you go. One, it goes off, on, gives you a warmer white, and then on, again, another warmer white, on again, bright light. The one in the middle is the same, also 3-in-1. Then we have the strip, LED strip in the middle as well, that one and that one. Okay, you want to have all those functions. Finally, just to show you the lovely chandelier as well. That's on and in the middle. Really, really nice. Really like that one. Looks fantastic. Okay, guys, that's it there. Electrically, we are probably about 80% installed, with about 20% to go. But now let's go outside and look at where we are with the septic tank. This is the septic tank now. Glory be to the Most High Yah. It has been completely emptied now. We used a pump. We rented a pump at 200 cedis a day to completely empty all the water that was in the septic tank. We've cemented around where the pipes were coming out, and those are the two covers. There'll be a couple of handles placed on them. And obviously the filling will come over them, and the finished floor of the landscape, whatever we decide, will come over that as well. And whatever that finish is, I will make sure that above the covers, whatever the finish is an accessible finish. So maybe pavement blocking, something that I can easily remove if we have an issue with the septic tank in the future. Okay. Now, if the lovely crystal points to the two pipes coming through the wall, one pipe is for ventilation of the septic tank, and then the other pipe is for the dislodging, or in other words, the emptying of the septic tank. When it's full up, the truck will not need to enter the house. Okay, the truck will just come to the front and suck up the contents of the septic tank into the truck, and then away we go. Okay, so the picture coming up on your screen now will show you what it looks like on the other side of the wall, or the front of the wall. You can see the ventilation is the obvious one with the hose in it, and then the one on the right hand side is where the truck sucks up the gunge. That piece of equipment by the box is the photocell, if you like, the passive infrared. No, the photocell, and that is what puts the external lights on, both the gate light and the external fence lights. When it's dark, 6 o'clock in the evening, those lights will come on automatically and go off early in the morning when we start to get a bit of bright light as well. Okay, so it's all looking good. You know, the electric fence, the warning signs are coming up, cameras going up, and yeah, so we are getting there. We are getting there, slowly but surely. Oh well, actually I shouldn't say that. We're going fast but surely. Aren't we, Chris?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. So guys, thanks for watching from Hewitt.
Kermis, yeah.
Guys, Yebeshia. See you next time.